Wow. So much cheaper. Oh my gosh. I did not know it was that often. That doesn't sound right. That sounds too high. It makes sense why European homes last so long. Seriously, it does. What is up? Welcome back. Today I'm reacting to a video titled Why US Houses Are Built from Wood and Europe Uses Bricks. We all know that the US houses are a catastrophe. Let's say it that way. Compared to European homes, it's just completely different from the ground up. What's up? If you haven't met me yet, my name is Aaron and I'm an American discovering Europe, and that includes everything about each country. The people, the culture, the sports. I want to know it all, and on this channel, that's exactly what we are doing together. I post videos every single day, so make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can see another video just like this one in the future. But now, let's get into it.
In Germany, 90% of new houses are built with brick or concrete blocks.
Wow, okay.
In Italy, almost every residential structure is masonry. In Spain, the same. In the Netherlands, brick. In the United Kingdom, brick.
Literally all made from solid, not falling down materials, not burnable materials.
Across the entire European continent, the standard residential wall is built from a material that lasts for hundreds of years and does not burn. In the United States, 90% of new single-family homes are framed with wood, 2x4s, plywood, oriented strand board, the same material a beaver uses, the same material that catches fire in seconds, the same material that termites consider a buffet. 2 wealthy regions. Same century, same access to every building technology on the planet. 2 completely opposite ways of constructing the most expensive purchase of an average person's life.
Literally,
Why?
yeah.
The standard answer is that America has more trees, and
that's not a real answer. I'm going to give my opinion really fast. I think it's because of the American economy. I think capitalism's driving these people because they can put up houses in as little as 3 months. They can do a foundation all the way to the final touch on the house in 3 months. And that's a really decent size home, not some cheap, easy to pull down kind of thing. So that's why in America, because the more and the faster they can sell the homes, the more money they make. At least that's my opinion.
And that is true. The country has one of the largest commercial forestry industries in the world. Lumber is cheap, abundant, and renewable. But that explanation only describes how the system started. It does not explain why it stayed. Europe also had vast forests once. They cut them down centuries ago and switched to brick. They never went back. America had the same option in 2000 and chose wood. In 2026, even with mass timber technology and engineered concrete and prefab steel framing all available at competitive prices, 90% of new American homes are still wood. The real reason is not the trees. It is something economists call path dependence. Once a country sets up a building industry around one material, with its workers, its codes, its supply chains, and its bank financing.
Wait, hold on. Let me see that list one more time. Let's look at that together. A locked-in system. Skilled wood framing labor, yes. Codes written for timber studs, yes. There's a lot of housing building codes that they need to follow, and it's based on wood, cheap, abundant lumber logistics. Very easy to get wood. You can get it anywhere. Bank fund, fast, replaceable homes. It's so easy. It's just quick, easy, efficient.
And it's bank financing. Switching becomes nearly impossible, even when better materials exist. America locked in wood 300 years ago. Europe locked in brick 1,000 years ago. Both systems still run on the inertia of decisions nobody alive ever made. And here's the data that proves the difference is not just aesthetic. A wood-framed American house has an average lifespan of around 50 to 70 years before major reconstruction. A brick or concrete.
That's terrible. That is absolutely awful. Even the brick homes in America, the inside is wood framed. I don't know. Actually, I think most of Europe is concrete or brick framing also, not just, maybe there's a little bit of wood, but the entire American home is framed in wood.
Concrete European house regularly stands for 200 to 500 years with maintenance. Some homes
just aren't built to last in America.
in Spain and Italy are still occupied after 700 years. The United States demolishes and rebuilds the same housing stock multiple times in the time Europe holds onto a single structure. 2 systems. 2 completely different relationships with the idea of home. So how did the split happen? Walk back to the 17th century. When European settlers arrived in North America, they encountered a forested continent on a scale they had never seen. Massive old-growth pine, oak, maple, cedar. The eastern half of the continent was essentially a wall of timber stretching from Maine to Florida. Estimates suggest the eastern woodlands covered roughly 1 billion acres before colonization.
Wow.
Cutting trees was not just permitted, it was strategic. Forests had to be cleared for farmland anyway.
Also, on top of that, wood was always used for burning and keeping the homes warm. So, with an abundance of wood and more people coming, they had to burn more wood for the homes to be warm.
Wood was the cheapest, fastest, most abundant building material a colonist could possibly use. The first wave of American homes was not a design philosophy. It was the path of least resistance through a landscape buried in lumber. Meanwhile, Europe had already been deforested. The continent had been clearing its forests for ships, firewood, and construction since the Middle Ages. By the 1500s, mature timber was a luxury good. Most European countries had no choice but to build with stone, brick, and lime mortar. The materials were heavier, slower to assemble, and required skilled labor. But there was no alternative. Europe ran out of wood before it ran out of demand for housing. That single resource gap, 3 centuries ago, sent the two continents down completely different industrial paths.
That is so interesting. Isn't it crazy how history affects you right now? And especially Americans and Europeans also. The type of home you live in is literally from a historical aspect and a resource supply and demand. Simply what you had available.
In Europe, brickmaking became a regional craft. Every village had a kiln. Every city had masons. Construction techniques were refined for hundreds of years around the assumption that walls were heavy, permanent, and assembled by hand. Building codes evolved around masonry. Bank loans were structured for properties that would last a century.
Wow.
Insurance assumed buildings would not catch fire. Skilled labor specialized in stone. In America, the opposite happened. The country invented balloon framing in the 1830s, a system that allowed a house to be assembled by a small team using nothing but standardized lumber, nails, and a hammer. No skilled masons were required, no expensive kilns were needed, just sawmills and railroads. Within 50 years, balloon framing and its successor, platform framing, became the universal American method. The country could build a house in weeks, not months. That speed is not a footnote. It is the...
Wait, hold on real quick. This is such a classic American subdivision. Wow. Yeah, they just throw up these homes. I mean, it takes like 60 to 90 days to build one of these.
Is not a footnote. It is the entire story. Wood framing makes American housing cheap. A standard wood-framed home costs 10 to 60% less than an equivalent brick or concrete home. Construction is faster.
Wow. So much cheaper.
And labor requirements are lower. The materials are easy to ship by rail or truck. Modifications are simple. Drywall comes off, new electrical goes in, drywall goes back on. An American contractor can throw up the bones of a house in 7 days with a crew that does not need years of specialized training. Masonry requires a different industry entirely. Bricklayers must apprentice for years. Mortar must cure.
Mortar cure time slows, yes. The bricks have to sit. Precision walls demand skill, higher labor costs than wood. Keeps U.S. past dependent on wood.
Walls must be plumb. Plumbing and electrical have to be planned before the walls go up because retrofitting through brick is brutal. The whole process takes months, costs more, and depends on a labor force that simply does not exist in most of the United States. There are not enough trained masons in America to build the country at scale with brick, even if every developer wanted to. This is the path dependence trap.
That's crazy. It's crazy that I'm seeing this because I've heard for so long, oh, Europeans always say, oh, Americans, they use wood. It's terrible. Like, they suck. They suck. Their homes are falling apart all the time. And why do they do that? Why do they do that? And I thought to myself, why do we do that? It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. And then you think about capitalism and these kind of things. And yeah, it's really an interesting video. I don't know how you're taking it, but for me, it's incredibly interesting.
Wood is cheaper because the entire American construction industry is optimized for wood. Masonry is more expensive because nobody is set up to do it, and nobody gets set up to do it because masonry is more expensive. The cycle runs forward forever.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are the codes. American building codes are written around wood. Inspectors are trained on wood. Banks underwrite mortgages assuming wood. Insurance companies have actuarial tables built on the lifespan of a wood-framed home. Even when a developer wants to build with concrete, the financing, the inspection process, and the supply chain all push back toward the standard format. The system.
So literally, if a builder wanted to use just brick or concrete, they couldn't because their business needs them to build homes. If they couldn't get the homes out fast enough with all those delays, they would make money and therefore they couldn't operate. So it's kind of a trap by the system.
The system does not have to forbid masonry. It just makes it inconvenient enough that almost nobody bothers. Europe is the inverse. Try building a wood-framed single-family home in central Berlin. Building codes will block parts of it. Insurance will be more expensive. Resale value will collapse because buyers expect masonry. Banks will hesitate to finance it. The European market has been shaped around brick for so long that wood is treated as the exception, not the rule. Now look at what the American choice costs. In 2023, the National Fire Protection Association recorded over 380,000 residential structures.
380,000 house fires? Oh my gosh. I did not know it was that often. Like, that's a lot of people. That's 1 million people a year have their home burned down. That doesn't sound right. That sounds too high.
Fires in the United States. Roughly 2,800 civilians died. Thousands more were injured. Property damage exceeded $11 billion in a single year. The fire death rate in the United States is roughly 3 times higher than in most Western European countries.
Wow.
Germany is around 5.3 deaths per million. The United States is above 12. The country with 90% wood-framed homes burns at double the rate of countries with 90% masonry-framed homes. Hurricanes hit even harder. When a Category 4 storm passes through Florida, wood-framed homes shatter. Brick and block homes built to Florida.
Look at that. It's so sad, but you see that all the time. Every year in the U.S. this happens. Either a hurricane or tornado just wipes out homes.
The code regularly survive intact. After Hurricane Andrew in 1992, Florida updated its codes and pushed concrete block construction in coastal zones. The houses built to that standard outlasted the storms that destroyed everything around them. The technology works. It just is not used nationally. Termites cost American homeowners around $5 billion per year in damage and treatment. European homeowners do not have this expense at scale because termites cannot eat brick. Wildfires in California and the Pacific Northwest level entire neighborhoods of wooden
oh my gosh.
homes in a single afternoon. A masonry house in the same neighborhood often stands. And there is one more cost that nobody puts on the bill. A wood-framed home is designed to be replaced. Its lifespan is measured in decades, not centuries. When the structure deteriorates, the house is torn down and rebuilt. That cycle creates work for builders, suppliers, lenders, and insurance companies.
Suppliers more lumber, non-stop lenders can't repeat mortgages, insurance. Yeah, it's all part of the cycle.
It is good for GDP. It is terrible for wealth accumulation. A European family that bought a brick home in 1940 often passes that same home to grandchildren. An American family that bought a wood-framed home in 1970 is likely watching it crumble, while their property value depends on the land beneath it. The structure is a depreciating asset. The dirt is the investment. There is movement at the edges. Concrete homes are growing in Florida hurricane zones. Insurance-driven masonry is appearing in wildfire areas. Mass timber and cross-laminated panels are starting to show up in commercial buildings. But residential construction at the national scale has not moved. Wood still wins because the entire industrial system is built to make wood win. 300 years ago, an American settler chose wood because the trees were free and the bricks were across an ocean. 300 years later, the trees are still free, the labor is still cheap.
Wait, hold on, what does this say? Wood remains America's cheapest build. House appreciate, land keeps value, wealth lost. Each time walls are replaced, Europe brick homes passed down intact. Can the U.S.
The labor is still cheap,
break the wood loop?
And an entire industry is still optimized for the same decision. Europe ran out of wood and accidentally built houses that last for centuries.
It's amazing.
America never ran out of wood and built houses that need replacing within a single human lifetime. So the question is this: will the United States ever break the wood cycle? Or is the country permanently locked into building disposable homes because that is what the system was built to do? Let me know what you think.
So sad. Oh my gosh. Wow. Insane video. I feel like I learned really so much. Every single one of these videos, I feel like I'm learning an incredible amount. And I hope you are too. I don't know if you've ever heard any of that before. I know you've probably heard that Americans have wooden homes. I can confirm we do. We do have wooden homes. Even if you see brick like this in the picture, the entire frame is just like the frames you saw throughout the video. So the interior is completely sheetrock and wood, which for a fire, it's not going to stand. Maybe it protects a hurricane better or a tornado, but that's about it. Anyways, it's so interesting. Maybe the US will move closer and closer to these concrete and really secure homes in the future. Who knows? I mean, one of the most charming parts about Europe to me is literally the castles. I'm obsessed with castles. So obviously they're made from stone. It makes sense why European homes last so long. Seriously, it does. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see another one just like this, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I would love if you dropped any recommendations in that Google form down below. If you want to send me a buy me coffee request for a video, you can also do that. That is always appreciated, as it just helps me to continue to make videos just like this one. And I got to give a shout out always to my channel members. Channel members, thanks so much for being a part of this journey and supporting me the entire way. It means the world to have your support and that you were just helping me and joining me on this journey. So thank you again, channel members, and I hope to see everyone in the very next video. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Cheers.